Yo, D-Bot, what's up?
Yo, what's going on, brother?
It's all going on, man. Playoffs are starting for the
Yes.
MLS, for MLB, and the 49ers are apparently in playoff form already. We'll get into that a little bit later. But, man, I think we should start definitely with our little trip to the digs, right?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, man.
Man, wasn't it? I love the way Galaxy tried to scare everybody who has tickets for this, but, like, arrive early. We're
Yeah.
expecting a sellout crowd, and every time they've done that in the past, like I like a buffoon. There I am, early, empty parking lot, nobody's there.
Yeah.
This one was a little bit different. It was more full. I gotta say, right? What did you think?
No, it was. And I remember you texting me that you couldn't get a parking pass online,
Right.
that it was just getting really, really difficult, even on the reseller market. It was just like, and I was just like, wow, I guess people are gonna really show up to this thing. It's crazy. So
Right, 'cause usually if the parking's available, right, nobody's really showing up, right? Like,
exactly.
people are selling their parking passes because we're really not going to go to this game.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, we already sold the ticket, but the parking, we realized, like, they didn't buy the parking pass, but somehow, because some people do that, right? They
Right.
they buy these tickets from a reseller and they opt out on the parking, and then it's
Right.
just like so that means
Because
that-
you could definitely buy parking the day of, but it's just like you can't buy the gold parking pass, which is lot 13, which is where all the tailgating happens.
exactly.
That's the one that needs to be pre-bought.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it's always interesting because you always see those postings of like, oh, I'm selling my gold pass, and you were texting me like, yo, I can't. There's no gold passes available.
Right.
So I was like, okay. So we thought about options, right? And
We even wanted to take the Galaxy Express bus, right?
yeah, exactly. Because yeah, it's a different experience when you don't park in lot 13.
Right.
But either way, I think we just said, you know what, let's just kind of bite the bullet, pay for parking at the space, and see where we land. And I mean, it wasn't too bad, right? It was
Of
like
course not.
around the corner.
Right, like right across the driveway. And I think we discovered a little a good parking hack, because usually we do parking lot 13, and that's where all like the parking lot pregame tailgating is happening, and you do feel like it's more allowed there than other parking lots.
Yeah.
But I think the smart thing to do is to park not in lot 13 somewhere else, and then just walk your way up with your beverages in hand and go to the supporter area, the
Yeah,
supporter
exactly.
picnic area, right? That's where we ended up. And man, those vibes were something, huh?
Yeah, exactly, dude. That was a really dope party to be a part of. A lot of good music.
Live music
Live
there
music,
going on.
yeah.
Lots of other beverages flowing. I think they had
Yeah.
a keg going.
Keg going.
They had a carne asada going. I think I saw you
Yeah.
with a plate at one point, right?
I did. I was I had saved my appetite because I felt like we had talked about going to the tailgating stuff prior. So I was like, I'm gonna save my appetite and just see which of the G's is gonna provide some food. So yeah, shout out to Galaxy Outlaws.
Yeah.
I went to their canopy, and yeah, they had like a bunch of food laid out there: rice, beans, some rotisserie chicken. It was really good, and it was like kind of like in that catering style, where it was like
Nice, yeah.
big old servings with macaroni and cheese, salad. It was really good. So yeah, I got a plate and enjoyed the music. It was cool. Enjoyed seeing people kind of just drinking and shouting and having a good time. You know what I mean? Just like you could tell like everyone's ready for this match. So
yeah, it's like because leading into this match, the vibes were fun. Like we're like there was a lot on the line, obviously a playoff spot on the line, and all they had to do was not lose. So apparently, like that's how we had that vibe, a very positive vibe. Like this team has looked really good the past 2 months. Like it looks like they're quote unquote peaking at the right time where you want them to be. So it had like that festive vibe going on pregame. So getting into the actual game was fun too. Like big crowd just lined up, getting in there and getting our little what is that lighted up wristband for the light show.
Glow lights.
Yeah, for the light show that we were supposed to get, and getting to our seats. And then this was the first time. Pregame, there's always like fans filing in, right? Like it doesn't look quite full at the start. But like I think around the 30th minute, I took a look around the stadium and I'm like, wow, this is the first time I've actually seen Dignity Health Sports Park actually full. Like the berm completely full, The supporter section completely full. Because like I said, in times in the past where I've been fooled by like arrive early, we're expecting a sellout crowd. And even when you look around the 60th minute after the second half, it's like, this isn't really full. It's there's a lot of people, but it's not really full.
Yeah.
This is the first time I could tell you like every seat was taken up. And it looked great. And I was really proud to be a Galaxy fan there. It's the first time I could say in a really long time that I was really happy to be at a packed stadium for everybody to support the Galaxy. The game itself, what did you think of it, Donald?
Oh man, that was it was an intense game, match. I felt like like you said, all they had to do was not lose, and we felt a little bit of that when RSL scored that goal. We just kind of kept shaking our heads because this team had opportunities to be up and not have to worry about RSL scoring.
Right.
But then when they scored and we're still with no points on our end, it just feels like, oh my gosh, there's no way this is gonna be the outcome, right? And you just felt like you wanted them to do something. You needed them to wake up. They needed to do something. There needed to be a play that worked. So it was pretty intense. I definitely was watching the match more intensely, and I kind of felt like that, I think, for the whole stadium. I mean, we were in a good section too. We had some ladies behind us that were really shouting and really getting in on it. We had little boys in front of us that were just like also getting in and yelling every time there was a close chance for a goal. And you just felt it around us. Like we were in a good section that
for sure
really engaged on the match.
Absolutely. And to your point, the Galaxy had some chances in the beginning before RSL scored. Remember, Ricky Puig was able to draw a penalty. Took the PK and got blocked. So it's very obvious we don't have any penalty kick takers. It's just it's like, what the heck's going on here? Like, no, it's a PK. It's like, what do you got? Like an 80% chance, some crazy statistic like that. I feel like it's 80 to 90% chance that you're gonna score. So of course the Galaxy are always in that 10% range. Of course they don't score because we have Puig and fucking Chicharito on our team, and so they should have been up 1-0. Of course they didn't score. They didn't convert the PK there. RSL came back to convert a very nice nice header off the
It was off a cross.
It was a really good shot from outside the box. That's what it was, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The header was stopped. So it's just really, it's a real bummer when your team doesn't convert and the other team comes back to convert. That for me has been the Galaxy all season, where they just can't convert offensively and then have defensive breakdowns on the other end. It's almost like a 2-point swing where we should be up, but now we're down. So it's just very disheartening. And this was important to see the Galaxy come back from that because they haven't shown that all season, like that fighting spirit to come back from being down. And it was really important to see them come back in the second half after being down 1-0 and get another chance on a PK. Yeah. Well, before they got that chance on the PK, there was a PK that should have been called for a foul that should have been called in the box for Chicha. Was definitely fouled in the box. Yeah. Went flying, and of course the ref decides to call give Chicha a yellow card for embellishment. Yeah. Which was an obvious contact in the box. Should have been called a PK, but the ref didn't want to call it. So apparently I found out this was his last game in MLS. Oh, so damn. He definitely was checked out already, which is why there were so many missed calls, so many bad calls going against Galaxy. And man, that was a really rough one because that should have been called a penalty. Gets called the other way for embellishment. But then finally, we did get a PK called in our favor. This time, Douglas Costa was able to take the shot and convert it. So I guess now we have a PK taker, right?
Yeah, we do. I think his record, they say, is 6-0, which I'm like, how come we didn't pull this data up like earlier?
Right?
Why is it that now it's coming? That's right. We got a guy who's undefeated on the. Yeah, okay.
Who's converted every PK. Yeah. Yet now we're deciding not to go with him. It's unbelievable. Because I get that. I guess you really want Joveljic to be our PK taker, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's who. If he's on the field, it's going to be him. But now we know if he's not on the field, and it's probably definitely not going to be Sasha Klechkin, who's not getting any minutes now. It seems like. Yeah. I mean, he's semi-retired. Pretty much, we know this is going to be his last year. It looks like it's unofficially. unofficially official at this point.
Yeah.
So we got to go with Costa as our guy to take PKs. So, and we know Chicha's always going to draw. Like, that's part of his game. He's going to, as soon as he feels any kind of contact, he's going to go down. But you kind of have to go down in this league in MLS. They're not going to call anything else.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to, if you play through it like Granzier plays through a lot of contact, you're not going to get calls. So these refs need that help, but yet they'll get upset when they get that help.
Yeah.
So it's just so converting that PK was important because it leveled the score. Galaxy were still on the front foot trying to get the goal to put them ahead, but ended with a 1-1 draw. Getting that 1 point, all they had to do was not lose.
Yeah.
Anticlimactic for you?
Kind of. I mean, it actually did feel anticlimactic. I know that the announcer at the end at the stadium made the announcement of them clinching, which obviously kind of raised everybody's spirit. But like for the most part, at the end, you did feel very like, wow, like this is not a good way to go into the playoffs. You know, not converting. Obviously, the ref was one issue, right? Like, I mean, from the beginning, you know, Push gets hit in the face with an elbow, doesn't call a yellow for that. So that kind of already let you know what kind of game we're getting into. Obviously, the even the penalty kick that we got awarded was like, it had to be a huge, exaggerated thing that had to happen where like the game completely stopped. And like, you know, you're seeing, you know, Galaxy players really like petition to the ref, like, dude, you got to look at that. The whole stadium saying VAR, VAR, VAR.
Right.
And then finally the guy can go sees it. And it was kind of weird to think that like as a referee, like that it took this much convincing. And it was just so odd. But overall, like the referee is one thing, but yeah, definitely performance wise, you got to convert. You got to finish. I know Cabral came in with Dejan and they got the legs, but Cabral is just really terrible at finishing. It's not his thing. Yeah. And Dejan, I was surprised that they only brought him in for, you know, I think Vanny felt like maybe this was going to be in the bag without him. So I think Dejan came in too late. So that was just my take. Hopefully come playoffs, that doesn't happen. So it's just, but overall it felt very odd. Like it wasn't like the most positive way of going into it, especially with this final match being kind of like, you know, it's there, but it's not like the thing that I think most fans are looking forward to. I think most fans are just looking forward to what the playoff implications are going to be. So, it was just so odd.
There's a lot of playoff implications now going into decision day, right? So, Galaxy clinch a spot. They're currently sitting in fourth place, which is a home playoff game. They haven't had a home playoff game since 2016, is what I read. So, home playoff game is big. They haven't until recently been playing well at home. They've shown they could win on the road. They've shown they could sometimes win at home. So I'm not super like, oh, they need a home playoff game to advance.
No, me neither.
This team is playing well. I mean, look at the last 2 months. They haven't lost in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
So that's really impressive to be that way, to be playing that way at this time. So, I mean, it'd be great. It'd be great to have another home playoff atmosphere because this game felt like a playoff game. It really did. So much fun. Like we were talking about the seats we had, that section was a lot of fun. The lady behind us, I think, was cutting up newspaper and throwing it up like confetti, like for every big play. And I felt like that was so much fun to be a part of that, environment.
Yeah.
But with I love that girl behind us had a great sign when Joe Bush came on board. So she wanted to go to prom with him. So I thought that was so great. Fun vibes there. So hopefully that we get rewarded with the home playoff game. So where they're currently sitting in fourth, they'll get that home playoff game, and they win. They get 3 points. They're guaranteed a home playoff game, possibly even moving up all the way up to third. If they lose or draw, they could fall all the way down to seventh, which is the last playoff spot. Where they're currently sitting in fourth. If this happens, we have a first round. The Galaxy have a first round matchup. Have to get through that first, obviously. But looking ahead to that second round, if they get the fourth spot or fifth spot, advance. What do we get next? We get an
El Tráfico.
Another playoff El Tráfico, man. Can you imagine?
Yeah, that'd be awesome, dude. We did talk about it last week that there's a possibility. all the Galaxy have to do is just take care of this first round, and we'll see.
Sounds
LAFC.
easy enough.
Yeah, sounds easy enough. And you know what would be fun is because this is like the rivalry, and I know LAFC would have home advantage.
Oh, right.
But I feel like most MLS teams tend to really fall apart at the bank, because LAFC really, sets the stage and they have the environment. But I feel like the Galaxy would be the one team where that probably wouldn't be that much of a, you know what I mean? Like
it wouldn't intimidate them as much as other teams.
No,
right.
You know what I mean? Because I think they're just already too familiar with that environment.
Because the Galaxy play up for it like it's their World Cup, right?
So
we know that's why they get up for that game. So we have to offer congratulations to LAFC for being the 2022 Supporters Shield winners. Congratulations. Some more plates to go without your cups. So now they have a first round bye, and they have home field advantage, like you said, throughout the playoffs. Even if they would make it all the way to MLS Cup final, they would have a home stadium advantage, where they've only lost once this entire year. So that is definitely a home field advantage for them. Now, as you said, this is the first game they won in I think they're not doing too well the last 2 months. So we've known since the transfer window, they've lost to San Jose at one point. I mean, so they're not on the front foot right now. Do they flip the switch? Can they realize now these are important games? I mean, Sonny, only you have the answer to that one, right?
Yeah, no, of course, and congrats to LAFC. They've had a good run, and I think that right now in the postseason or playoffs, whatever term you want to use, this is where it really begins, and I know that it's never easy, but we'll see how it goes, and I mean, hopefully, they do something to really show out, because I know that their fans have been asking for it, and I know that their franchise has been asking for it, and they made all these changes and all these dramatic changes last season, so we'll see if it pays off for them. But yeah, they get to rest the first round, and we'll get to see that. I see that they are the favorites to win it, according to 538 at 36%. So,
and 538 is never wrong.
Yeah.
So they're gonna win the cup. So get ready, LAFC fans. All the big acquisitions, the big names you guys have done, even brought in, and you guys always like to give crap to the Galaxy for only bringing in big names who are past their prime, but yet you guys have Bale and Chiellini, and so okay. Not trying to steal at all the formula. Would we give them crap for like, oh, you guys won with the Galaxy formula? Or no, of course not. We're not that petty.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and also shout out to Nahum. We saw him at the supporter section, hang out pre-party. So just wanted to give him a shout out, because I know he's a avid listener of our show. So
for sure, man, that was good to see him. IRL is what the kids say in real life, and so great to see him in the supporter section group, right? Like it's like that's such a fun picnic area. It's family friendly. Mm-hmm. Like I think he brought his little boy with him, which was great. So yeah, that was so cool to see. And it's like, yes, everybody's there wilding out, having a crazy time, but still on that grass, there's kids playing, kicking the football around.
Yeah.
So it just shows that the environment is friendly to everybody, as long as you're a Galaxy fan and not this random straggling LAFC fan who decided to walk in there, unfortunately, who was gently told to leave, by the way. I got to say, that was very gentle. I mean, mind you, the gentleman was older. I would say like somewhere in his 50s, wearing the LAFC jersey. He's just there to watch soccer, and the Galaxy fans are aware of that. Just pretty much telling them, it's not for you. Not this is not a friendly environment for you. So they kind of
escorted him out.
Kindly escorted him out, and I think they gave him a beverages as well.
Yeah, like they did. He had food and
so there you go. It's football is for everyone. But a lot of those festivities are Galaxy fans only. I think that would have been a totally different response over at the bank. Just so you know, in the times I've been there wearing Galaxy stuff, it hasn't been as friendly. So once again, I don't know what if it comes to just fan bases, Galaxy are a better fan base, just so you know. moving on to MLB. From the MLS playoffs to the MLB playoffs, getting underway. First ever wild card round in MLB. Should be exciting because the Slam Diego Padres are facing the New York Mets. I mean, you got the Atlanta Braves. No, sorry, the Atlanta Braves are the second seed. You got the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the St. Louis Cardinals and the Venera St. Louis Cardinals, man. It was really cool to see Pujols, Adam Wainwright, and Yadier Molina like walk off the field together at Busch Stadium. Or I don't know if it's still called Busch Stadium, but to walk off that field and get the round of applause that they deserve, man, really is an end of an era. Pretty cool to see that happen.
Yeah.
Let's see how far they actually go. I've seen a lot of people making their picks online, like filling out their MLB brackets, and almost every time I've seen that, nobody has the Dodgers going out of the NLDS. Like if somebody picks the Padres to win, they're like, yeah, they'll beat the Dodgers. If somebody picks the Mets to win, yeah, they'll beat the Dodgers. And like, why though? Where's your logic?
Yeah.
Where are you coming out with this?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if the Dodgers don't run all the way, which I'm expecting them to and hoping they do mainly, but if they don't, I would see them losing more in the NLCS. You know, that's as early an exit as I could potentially see.
Yeah.
I could see them losing to the Braves. This is the third time, potentially, if the Braves get past who either the Phillies or the Cards. This is their third matchup, right? In the past 3 years. 3 straight consecutive years if we see this NLS matchup again. If we do, mind you. So that's where I could see their first early exit. Going to the World Series, potentially. Dodgers going to the World Series, which they deserve, which we expect to happen. Maybe against the Astros. Can you imagine? That'd
be nice.
That'd be such poetic.
I'd love that.
Sweet poetic justice if that were to happen. Just to avenge that 2017 or redeem their 2017 championship, right? Like,
yes.
Because now if they win it, what will we hang our hat on, right? Like, now we've beat us. They beat us legitimately. And speaking of legitimately, before I let you get into playoff talks, congratulations to Aaron Judge. 62 home runs, right? 62 home runs. The legitimate home run king, as a lot of people are saying. Where do you stand on this legitimate?
I mean, Judge was asked that himself, and he said that the record is 73.
Thank you.
And that's what he sees as the record that he wants to beat, or if he could beat. Obviously not happening this season because the season's over. But you know, it's crazy how, like, obviously it is up for debate, but I mean, I guess home runs are home runs, and you gotta like kind of respect that number. And I know that obviously he's the AL king, which is, you know, good for the AL, like in terms of like he'd be the guy for the AL.
Right.
But that's kind of like where I stand. I mean, if he says 73 is a number, then I think 73 is a number. I mean, that's just, you know, I try not to get too into the politics of the whole, like, you know, everything that Barry Bonds was, you know, like, but at the same time, it's just like, I get it. Like, I mean, if he did get 74, then it would just feel like a legitimate number, right? At this point, it'd be like, okay, this is the legit version. But
I just think it's a really funny narrative that they're pushing the AL home run king, the AL home run king. It's it's done very much like to get it out there as a promotional thing, right? Like, he's a home run king. He's the AL home run king. And they're really trying to mask the fact that Barry Bonds is the home run king, really.
Yeah, the all-timer.
Like, he is the all-time home run single season home run leader, right? Like, let's not deny that. Like, even like you said, Judge isn't denying that, but yet a lot of media is trying to deny that. Where I remember, I think it was Buster Olney who made this analogy where, like, Mount Everest, right? Like the first people to summit Mount Everest. Like, no one did it before, but yet now people have oxygen tanks to do it. So is it still count as somebody Mount Everest? And I'm like, okay, so you're trying to say, do you think the mountain cares who summits it? Like, do you think MLB cares who's the home run leader? Like, they looked the other way during this whole thing. Don't try to say that now it's different because now they're testing more. Like, dude, you're discrediting everybody, and that's not fair, man. That's a bad analogy. Terrible analogy. Like, dude, the mountain doesn't care. MLB didn't care before. So it's the same thing. It's like, dude, this is the record. It's being summited. It's being claimed as the home run leader. That's it. Like, Bonds is a home run leader.
Exactly. I think that another thing I've noticed, especially now that you brought up the media trying to pitch this narrative, is that like it's almost interesting to think like they're kind of really going to bat for Judge.
Mm-hmm.
I think mainly because of the MVP race,
Mm-hmm.
because they do say that it'll probably be between Judge and Otani,
Right.
and it's almost like obviously they're making this severe case of like, well, look, he hit 62. The Yankees are like on the top, right? It's them and the Astros that are like the top two teams in the AL. Otani doesn't have anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, Otani's just a great player for like himself. But I mean, again, I don't really focus on the AL on my end, so I really don't care who gets it. But it's kind of funny to see how the media is really like, really kind of, they're really like wanting a Yankee to be the one getting this whole thing because it means a lot more to the media if it's the Yankees like getting something versus Shohei Otani. But then again, there's like a strong case for Otani.
Right.
He's super great to go see. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no player that's been like him. He's a one of one. So like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a tough thing. And I mean, unless Otani can repeat this performance next season, but who knows? You know what I mean? But it's a battle between those two guys, and the media really is leaning on Judge.
I mean, Otani got people to go to Angel Stadium to watch a terrible Angels team just to see Otani pitch.
Yeah.
Like, I think Clipper Pablo and I were trying to, get together and watch a game out there just to see Otani pitch.
Yeah.
I think he was able to make it out there. I wasn't able to make it out this year, but I would have, and I'm still planning on it. As a Dodger fan, still want to go see the Angels play only for Otani because this is a once in a generational talent.
Yeah.
This is the first time in almost 80 years is what I'm looking at that somebody has has been a league leader in batting and pitching.
Yeah.
So this, I mean, if that's not MVP caliber, I don't know what is. And I get you want to give accolades to the new AL home run king. I get that. Yeah. But I mean, there's if nothing says valuable as a player as being able to contribute offensively, like as a batter, and then on the mound as a pitcher, I don't know what else does. Man. Yeah. And honestly, I feel like Otani does deserve the MVP.
Yeah.
When they eventually do give it to Judge, I mean, we'll know why. It's the East Coast bias. It's very obvious. It's very obvious it's the East Coast bias. Otani in the American League. A lot of the sports writers feel it's too late to stay up and watch the Angels play because it's 10 o'clock over there when they're playing. So it's just very typical. That's just a terrible argument that they still make to this day with the internet being the way it is, accessibility to games on demand as they are. It's just BS in my opinion. I think Otani does deserve the MVP. When they give it to Judge, I mean, do they do a co-MVP? I don't know when the last time that's been done, but co-MVP to me makes the most sense.
Yeah, it definitely feels like the kind of argument where it's like, are you a baseball purist? If you are, you're gonna go with Otani because you've never seen that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But Judge is Judge. He's a Yankee. There's more marketability for him. He's in a big market like that. He can. I don't know if he's like a Nike athlete or something, but I'm sure like they'll throw him in some sort of ad for some sort of brand, and like he lends himself to all that. And it'd be great if these brands could also say that this guy's the MVP on top of the home run leader. Like this is like throw all the medals we can. And I think there's like a lot of that. Like my thing is like I know that the media and like all the talking heads, like the opinionated sports people would rather talk about Judge because it just has more of a conversation than Otani. But then like if you love if you're like more of a baseball purist, you love just seeing the mechanics of everything and it fascinates you, then of course Otani's a guy that you love because it's like you've never seen that. It's never been happened. It's never happened before. So it's just huge, and I think like maybe Otani's, unfortunately, I think a lot of it has to do with the franchise. And I know everybody that I've heard online has said, yeah, he needs to go to a big market. He needs to go to a big market. Fortunately, he had the opportunity to. He chose not to. So, you know what I mean? It's like, and is he going to do it now? No, I think he just signed an extension. So, you know what I mean? It's just kind of,
I mean, he does play for a big market. He plays for the Los Angeles Angels. That's a big market. So co-MVPs have happened in the National League before, never before in the American League. So this could be the first time ever AL co-MVP. First time.
Yeah.
they
I
like
mean,
to throw around the American League a lot.
yeah, if it happens, I think it's well deserved. You know what I mean? I don't think it should be one or the other. I think both of them should get it. They both had great years. So I don't know. I just feel like it's like I'm not trying to overthink it either, you know?
Nah, I hear it. Yeah, for sure. Both. It's just amazing to see this. These two players in our lifetime play this way. So just enjoy it, I guess is what we can say.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So I gave you my thoughts on the Dodgers postseason run and where I think how far they'll go, how deep they'll go, or where they might exit. What do you think, D-Bot?
I think that they have to win the World Series. I know that it's a stretch because I feel like, obviously they broke the franchise record, right? 111 wins, which is huge. I still feel like all this stuff is underreported and underdiscussed.
No, we know why.
And I just think that, like, I get it. Like, it's the Dodgers. Like, people were always like, yeah, you guys are great. You guys have all the great players. You guys have the best farm system. You guys just know how to, like, take care of the season, you know?
Yeah.
So, obviously, I hope that they win it all. If it would be great, honestly. I think if the Dodgers go to the World Series, which I'm expecting them to, I think that I think it'll be, if it's the Astros, it'd be great. It'll be a very redeeming moment. But if it's the Yankees, I think that would be just as good because everybody wants to see Dodgers Yankees. Like, you know what I mean? Like, two big markets, two of the biggest markets for MLB. I mean, MLB would be super happy with that, you know, because that would definitely bring in a lot of money for them. But I don't think there's a lose situation for the Dodgers if whoever they have to face. But again, like anything in the postseason, it comes down to how healthy you are. And I think last season they had I would have said they had a shot had they been healthy, but they were shot by the time they hit by the time they arrived to Atlanta. And then they just got swallowed up by Atlanta. Like I remember watching that series and just realizing, man, we have no shot whatsoever. Yet I'm gonna still watch these games. But it was just kind of torturous seeing how Atlanta was just so put together, and it was just like, yeah, we're not there. All our guys are out. We need our guys back, and it doesn't work without them. So
yeah, offensively, remember Max Muncy got hurt on the last day of the season, and then they went into that heated NLDS with the Giants. And just like they just wanted to get through them so badly because they had lost the division title to them. So it's just like, let's not lose. And they were able to get by in 5 games, and then they were just spent for the NLCS. They were just like on fumes. I think we talked about that, right? They like a junkie car just pulling up to that line, to that next, intersection. And we're like, we can't go anymore. So that's kind of how it felt. This time it felt a little bit different. They still have some injuries, but hopefully, when you look at their pitching and bullpen, that's what stands out to me, right? Like their starters, like you brought up, Tyler Anderson, Tony Gonsolin, Kershaw, Urias as our 4-man rotation. I mean, to me, that's 2 guaranteed wins with Urias and Kershaw. And it maybe shouldn't be a guaranteed win with Kershaw, right? Yeah. Because we know how postseason Kershaw could be. Anderson could be a real wild card here. Gonsolin, to me, has shown the Dodgers don't trust him for some reason in the postseason. And I don't know what they see, what they're seeing and what we don't see, right? So, but when you look at the bullpen now, it's like Kimbrel being in that bullpen is terrifying to me. And I would feel better him coming in around the 6th or 7th. And I just don't want him anywhere near the 8th or the 9th. Just get him out of there early. And the only saving grace is potentially Dustin May and Blake trying to maybe back in time for this NLDS roster. Thank God for that week-long break that they're about to have. For real. Because they would desperately need those arms coming in. I know they're coming in, getting thrown into the fire right away. Like no postseason wrap-up games. No. They're just having to contribute beyond immediately after being activated, which you expect the Dodgers team to flip a switch. I mean, they kind of, once they wrapped up, they still played well, but they didn't play great. If you notice watching those last games against San Diego and Colorado as they wrapped up. So it's just, I mean, I love the way they still won that series in San Diego just because they don't want to ever lose to the Padres, which I appreciate them. They didn't play amazingly great against Colorado, and Colorado has a really great young pitcher. His name is escaping me right now at the moment, but the Rockies are always tough within your division. But the fact that they kind of not sputtered out against the Rockies, but just kind of phoned it in.
Yeah, they did.
So you're kind of like, do you want that, or do you want them to go after the all-time record of 116, which obviously they fall short of, winning 111.
Mm-hmm.
So do they flip the switch? I don't know.
I don't know. Me neither, man. I want to say yeah, but I don't know, man. This is the Dodgers here.
You never know.
We never know. We always got that LA laid back thing that will bite us if we do it at the wrong time, which sometimes with this team it happens to be in the postseason. Yeah, man. I mean, for the first round, I would love for it to be Mets Dodgers. I don't want to see San Diego.
I would love to see San Diego.
I just feel like this would be kind of like, all right, well, I guess we have to go through you guys, but like
they have a better regular season record against San Diego.
Yeah,
than they do against the Mets.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I want the Dodgers to feel a little challenged, because then I feel like it'll get too easy, and I don't.
Don't say that, D-Bot. Yeah. Don't say because you're gonna jinx them. No, they're gonna go 5 games with San Diego. Yeah, because you said that it's gonna be too easy.
So I mean, it's just I know San Diego isn't really the same without Tatis on that team,
for sure.
And that I think obviously, yeah. I think that having the best arms would help us out if May and trying to come back. That'd be great, Trying is such a great, relief pitcher. Like, I remember he would come through what was like 6-7 innings, like 6th and 7th innings he would come in.
Right.
I think 6, 7, 8 sometimes, or 7 and 8, and then Gratterall would close, or I think when he had Jensen he would close. But he was just like a machine that would just come in and did what he needed to do and be out, and that was it, and it was good. So I'm hoping he comes back, and I hope we have him.
Yeah.
So
me too, man. I think that's going to be the true key to unlocking this, how deep the Dodgers go in this playoffs, and how far once we get, hopefully we get our World Series, berth, we get to have our matchup maybe against either the Astros, the Yankees, or the Seattle Mariners in the World Series this year. Shout out to Sonny and the Seattle Mariners, man, in the postseason. Look at you guys. You never know. That's all you need. A puncher's chance now. You never know what could happen. I bring up Sonny D'Amato to bring up the fact that his 49ers took on my LA Rams last Monday on Monday Night Football. I was excited for this matchup, rematch of the NFC title game. The Rams go on to win the Super Bowl. Just so you guys know, I'm going to tell you this: reigning, defending Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams take on the title's not on the line. Just so you know, whenever I hear so many 49er fans going crazy over this matchup, I was excited to see this matchup just because it's a divisional matchup. You want to see how you stack up within your division. Monday Night Football, big deal. I was excited to see it start, and then it never got started for the Rams. It was all 49ers from the beginning to the end. It was really, and I can only contribute this to why the 49ers get up for this game like it's the World Cup or like it's their Super Bowl. Just like LAFC fans compare Galaxy get up, it's their World Cup. 49ers get up for Rams games like it's their Super Bowl. And that's why they play so well. I didn't see this against the Broncos on last Thursday night. This wasn't the same team. And I mean, the Rams defense didn't play horribly except for like 2 big plays. Obviously, that one big play to Deebo Samuel, which was unbelievable. As a Rams fan, I give tremendous respect and appreciation to Deebo Samuel. I know how good he is. I know you guys love him so much there. He's on his way out still, I still think. but I digress. Yes, amazing game. Well done to the 49ers. They played amazing. They had answers for everything defensively. The Rams just couldn't get any offense going. Could not. Every time they got into the red zone, they just couldn't get it across the goal line. They had to settle for field goals, which you just knew was going to cost them. And of course it did. They just couldn't get the ball in the end zone, which cost them the game eventually. The pick 6 was just a backbreaker. and the evident dagger for this game. So just all I could say is big ups to the week 4 champion San Francisco 49ers. Put up your banner. I'm sure you guys are going to be real happy with it. We'll see you again, though, real soon.
Yeah.
That's all I got. D-Bot, forget football. That's it. We're done for the show,
done.
Right?
Oh, man. I mean, my only thing to add on the
for sure.
Ram Niners is just, I guess, these are the moments where you realize, like, Shanahan just has McVay's number. This is not the first time that they've lost to the Niners. I think they actually obviously they beat them in the playoffs last year.
They won when it counts. They won when it matters,
which is really like the important part. But obviously, divisional wins also make a difference
for sure.
Head to head, right? I think the Rams and the Niners are both 2-2, I believe, and but the Niners are up because they won the head to head. So
exactly.
It's that's how it works. But yeah, that's
the rules.
There are the rules, and I know that next this Sunday they got the Cowboys coming into SoFi.
Yes,
so
there'll be a lot of Cowboys fans inside SoFi Stadium. As you know, it's gonna be typical of a Rams game, and Cowboys are a big fan base that travel. So I'm expecting to be tough for it to be a tough game for the Rams. However, I don't know how the Cowboys are still winning without
Dak Prescott.
without a quarterback. So that's going to be interesting, right? Roosh is coming through for them. So should be exciting matchup. Going to be a tough one at home for the Rams to win, like always. But enough with the Rams talk and enough with the 49ers talk. Donald, I'm over it. How did your Chargers do?
Oh, man. So they won, which was really good because they got beat so bad last weekend that I felt like, oh, shoot, this is going to be an issue if, like, Herbert's not 100%. So Herbert started this game. It turns out he's 100%. Like, I mean, obviously, I think he's still recovering, but he played way better than last week. Like, he did not look in as much pain, which obviously tells you that he just needed to rest. Maybe taking the week off would have been the better thing. If we were going to lose to the Jaguars, we might as well just give him the week off. Sure. But he looked a lot better, and the Chargers were really executing on all cylinders. Running game, passing game, Mike Williams came through. Running game, Eckler came through. Eckler came with his first touchdown of the season. Kind of funny thing in the fourth game. Now he has like his first touchdown. But yeah, it was really good. Obviously for the Texans, I will say this, like the defense for the Texans was just kind of an easy defense for the Chargers to go through. Like, they exposed the defense so much, and like you could just tell like the Houston defense just wasn't that's not the defense that's going to win them games. And obviously that's going to be a problem for them in the rest of the season is having to figure out like which are going to be like they basically have to make sure that the team that they play has a weaker offense. Because if they have a more potent offense, it's going to be tough for them. That defense was really easy to go through. I could just see Eckler just cutting through real easily, and I was just like, what's going on here? But this is like the night and day comparison to what the Jaguars were doing. And I know the Jaguars lost against the Eagles, but they lost by 3 points, so it's not like it wasn't easy for them. But yeah, like the Chargers really needed a win like this to kind of at least feel like, okay, good, like we don't really suck. We thought we did. It turns out that like if you give your quarterback time to get healthy, he could throw better, he could feel better. And I think for the most part, when you play a defense like this that doesn't, that lets you run the ball the way you want to run it, you can do your run plays and it works. So for this week, nobody wants to fire Joe Lombardi and the coach. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, right now they're sitting in second place in the AFC West. Obviously, that pesky Kansas City team's the first place team, 3-1. So we'll see when we play Kansas City. I know it's gonna be coming up soon, but the next game is on the road for the Chargers, going to Cleveland against the Browns. So it should be interesting because I know Cleveland, I don't know who their quarterback is because I know it was supposed to be Deshaun Watson, but he's suspended. So yeah.
I forget who their quarterback is now. I have to look that up. Jacoby Brissett?
Oh, Jacoby Brissett. Yeah, he used to be with the Colts, and I think he was with the New England Patriots when he first started. Like, I think he was one of Tom Brady's backups way back.
Who wasn't a Tom Brady backup at this point, right? Yeah. Everybody, if you've gotten on a team with Tom Brady, has gotten had to back up for him.
Yeah, so yeah, that's right, Jacoby Brissett. Yeah, he bounces around. They got a great running back with Nick Chubb. And so it's yeah, that's gonna be the tough part for the Chargers, is getting that run game going. But yeah, the Chargers defense also stepped up in that Houston game. They got a lot of sacks, and yeah, they definitely they got an interception. So it was just a perfect team for them to kind of like reset the palette for them. So we'll see how it goes in Cleveland.
We'll see how it goes. Big sports weekend coming up again for us. We got decision day in MLS.
Yes.
We got NFL going on. We get a break from baseball this week. Well, we'll still watch some postseason because playoff baseball is always so much fun. It'll be fun to watch now since our teams are, well, since the Dodgers are getting a break and we're not going to be emotionally invested. We just get to see the excitement of it.
Yeah.
And then get ready for next week, which is going to be intense, whoever they face.
Yeah. Tuesday, Wednesday.
This is where it gets exciting, D-Bot.
Yeah, it does. It does. I'm excited, man. Shoot.
Man, me too, man. That's it for us this week. See ya.
Later.